did mention last week, I don't want anything in this particular folder outside. This one, right, is basically, if you look at this one, right, 00, your name, it's just like a place you go to your instruction, you lose mark, right? Okay, so same thing. Okay. Also, naming conventions are important. Okay, if there is some kind of naming convention that's asked from you, right, in a team, you don't follow the naming convention, it might have ramification down the workflow. Then some coders, they actually when they do automation, right, they pull files by certain naming conventions, and then you don't follow the naming conventions, data will be lost. Okay, or it can cause some kind of production problems. So why am I so sticky about this is because it matters when you graduate. Okay, sticking to all this naming convention, the file management system and stuff is very important. Okay, understand? So can y'all go while I'm going through the lessons today, go and change all this to the proper file structure, file naming convention and stuff. And then it's like, wow, give me all these kind of things. Give you all very clear cut already, right? This is what I want. Or an image, Unity terrain, and then the UV better, unwrap terrain. You could more than likely, it will be screen capture from Maya. Okay, and then put it side by side, save it as one singular PNG. And I did make it very clear if it's a PNG. Yeah, I get different kind of things coming out. What the heck is this? Yes. I gave you visual sample. Then I don't know what to say, right? Can y'all go and settle this? This one is, wow, is this what I'm asking for? Okay, can y'all go and read your brief? This is what I want. Okay, I'm going to settle this before the end of the day. Or actually, before the end of class. It's simple enough to settle it, right? And questions?
Sorry, but your volume dropped like quite a lot.
My volume dropped by quite a lot. Can you hear me now?
A little better.
Okay, sorry. The volume was low.
Yes.
Let me push my volume all the way up. Okay, can hear? So I got a clearer idea what you need to do for your server.
I mean, I just got a clearer idea of how to do the CA because, believe it or not, I couldn't find out what to do.
Hey, Hui Ling, you see, you know what I want, right?
Yeah, but I don't know why, right? I cannot see the checkered thingy. I keep seeing the highlighted blue down, like, very weird.
A highlighted blue thing, right? Okay, I show you. I know there's this issue of this. Let me show you. There's a trick lah. Sorry, I cut you off just now. Yu Xuan. Did you have a question just now? Yu Xuan, just now, did you have a question?
I mean, when you were presenting the thing, when you asked if I have a question, and I do have one, but I'll wait for you to settle Hui Ling's thing first.
Okay, can. So, in Maya, there is a trick lah. I guess I forgot to mention to you. Oh dear, yeah, I might have, but I didn't highlight it. Maya, so nice weather. It's going to rain. Maya 2022 is very slow in booting up. But you all know that 2022, right? Now you can search within Maya already. I think it's Command F. Now you can search tools and commands. Used to be like this kind of thing that you can search already. Say, what is that? Extrude. Extrude. Where it goes to. Oh, can get information. Select. You can get information like that now. What is this? Oh, that will go to your extrude tools. In the future, it's like, oh, I think there is something. Maybe you have used another software, and then it's like, oh, there is this particular function in 3D modeling or stuff. You can always go Command F and then go and search. So that's the beauty, but maybe because of this, it's like, what the heck? It slows down the boot time now. Anyway, I'm rambling. But just want to let you all know Maya has this such function now to help you. Now, let me go and open up. I know this thing that you're talking about. Don't save. So when you want to show the checkered pattern, right? I know, let's say if this thing, this one I go and turn it off, and by default everything is on, you see all this green color, right? Okay, and then in order to show your checkered thing down here, you have to go to your UV editor, and then you go turn on this thing, right? So even got this thing, but you still got the green color, so maybe that's the reason why it throws you off. And what you can do is go to show, you turn off this selection highlighting. So it's selected, it's actually selected. It's just that the green thing is taken off. It's hidden, so to speak. Also, that's the trick. You can still have your UV editor on, and then you select this guy and then turn on this checkered thing. Then the checkered thing will show up here. Then you can do a screen capture already. You can see that. And it's a little trick lah. Questions? Questions?
By the way, can you show the class index number?
Class index number. Yeah, class index.
Thank you.
Take note of it. Ooh, I shouldn't show your. Dang it. I show already. Okay, Ken? I cannot scroll up further. Oh. Just take note later on. I'm giving marks for your assignment 1 pure ref at plus backstory. Okay. Okay. Everybody got your index number? Yeah. Okay, moving on. Any question about this? So can you go and sort it out? I want this one image and it's PNG. Don't give me some other class one. Give me pure ref some more. So lazy. You put it together. No, yeah, it's good to put it in pure ref, but this, no, I specifically say I want PNG. Pure ref, I think it will actually blow up your size also, the file size also. Or sometimes this is not meant to be for pure ref. But if PNG, right, just open up, I just double click. I mean, like, let's say PNG, I can see immediately, you see. I don't have to go and fire up pure ref again or stuff. What the heck? Make life easy for your users lah. Okay, that's that. Now, any questions about UV unwrapping and all that stuff? Because other classes seems to have a lot of issues where, okay, one thing you have to keep in mind, this is more than likely is, I see the way that you're, okay, yeah, this is much more better actually, the way that this one, okay, this one is kind of funny. Okay, when you're doing your UV unwrap and all that stuff, and it's very organized like this for something that is organic, right? More than likely something is wrong. It's like, how can you try to force something that is organic in nature, and yet your UV unwrap is something that is so like hard surface kind of, wow, so orderly one. Impossible, ma. Oh, but this one obviously, okay, I think this one is your before one. No, before one is actually you can by let's say it is from the Unity terrain tool one, right? You can just use a Y projection or planar map projection in Y axis. You already get one. You actually get the kind of distortion from the Unity terrain tool, because that's how it does it, you see. So you don't even need to go and cut into all these kind of different seams. Okay, but after you have rearranged the topology and all that stuff with ZBrush and all that stuff, right? The ZRemesh and all that stuff, or Quad Draw, then it's more than likely you will need to have UV unwrap that is much more organic like this. It's patchwork like this, because different parts, right? You have the height, and because of it's more protruded and stuff, then you need to have more seams, so that it's easier for the UV to be unfolded to reduce stretching, you see. Understand? Do you understand this part?
Not exactly. I mean, that's actually one of the questions I wanted to ask about this.
Sure, no problem.
I was unable to really find like describe this logic, or like logic or the process behind like UV unwrapping not only such a large like thing, but also an island, because
Not
for
to
me,
worry.
this is the first time I am
I
large thing, and when I'm looking at your example images you sent in the WhatsApp group chat, the only pattern I managed to find was that the only pattern that I managed to find was that the beach or like the coastline is a separate UV shells, but other than that, I'm not really exactly sure what I'm supposed to do.
Sure. Okay, right now, I'm going to show
my
you.
before picture need redo.
Your what?
My before picture need redo.
Redo lah. So easy wa. Just wipe a planar projection Y axis only wa. Yo.
Also, I don't need cut, right?
No need to cut lah.
Okay.
Need to cut lah, yo. Still don't understand lah, yo. This one, right? You see. Okay. Let me. Don't worry, Yuxuan. I'm going to demo. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Unity terrain, right? You see, by default, you look at Unity's terrain one, right? It's so obvious that it's actually a planar Y projection UV unwrap. So there's no cutting one, and that's because there's no cutting, right? That's why there's freaking distortions. Can understand? So the before one, right? In the if it's going to be something like this lah. Okay. Understand? It's basically a Y projection planar. Okay. Now, yesterday another class student has given me some kind of like, he also has the same problem understanding. I guess maybe this is the first time you are dealing with something that's this large, which, and also more to the point is, I think it's because it is something that's organic, and then you all don't seem to be able to grasp how to do UV unwrap for something that's more organic. Okay. So let me open the scene. CW. Okay. Okay, actually, I'm supposed to import because the file he gave me is I think it's a FBX. Yeah, I think this is the one. Terrain X FBX. Okay, yeah, that is what he gave me. Frame what? Cannot see, right? When you can't see the thing but it's hit there, means what? People, what should you do? Teach me. The mesh is imported already, but when I press F, I can't see anything. What do you do?
Select camera.
Yep. Select camera, then do what? Attribute
Then you
editor.
attribute editor. So we do the
Yeah.
far and near clip plane.
Yeah, far clip plane, near clip plane. It's like you all need to learn how to like troubleshoot. Okay, then let me see. This guy is what he has exported out from. This is the student's work. Okay, let me turn on the selection highlighting thing. And I press the W. Oh, this one. Actually, I've already centralized the world already. Okay. Previously when I put this in, there seems to be some issues. Okay. It was off center on the start. Then you need to go and solve it, or you need to make sure that it's in the world center. So Maya's world center thing. Let me turn off this guy, the selection highlighting. Then let me see. I want to see the grid, right? I think the grid is there. I just don't know. It's very small, which is correct. And also, when it was brought in at first, right? This guy is pretty small. You need to, because again, you remember the Unity scale difference from Maya, right? Unity is one unit is actually Maya's 100. So when it's brought in, this island is pretty small. See right now, you see this guy? Can you see? Trying to bring into the grid. So difficult because of the scale. Okay, so it's at the world center, right? Can you all see? So it's very important as the world center, the pivot point. Okay, so you can always this guy when it's come in, right, it's actually let me try to bring in what he gave me first, so that you have a better idea. Let me see. I need to go and download his file again. Okay, the rain for CA1. Okay, brought in. So this is what he has exported out. Let me hide this one, which is Control H. This is what he has exported out, frame. Also, you notice that it's pretty small compared to this guy, which is like outside. And also you see his one is actually off-centered. Can you see that? This one is actually what was exported out directly from the code or through the code in Unity. Understand? And this is how small it is. Okay, this is how small it is. Okay, so you need to in Maya, right, go and probably you just center pivot first, then go to right view. You likely need to go and D and then V, so that you snap the pivot point to the very bottom of this mesh. Okay, and then go perspective mode again. And then now with this one, then you can go and V and X. And then try to, what the heck? Trying to this thing over. What the? So D and X. what the, okay, sorry, not D and X, sorry, actually D, X, sorry, right now, because I'm trying to snap this whole thing over to the grid. Okay, then X, snap it to the center of the world. Okay, and then you know that, hey, it's at the center of the world, but it's super small, right? And I'll go to down here, 100. Then it should, you might need to make some change, some shifting, but if I go and Control H this guy, now it's matching already. Can you see that? These are the things that you need to do to make it proportional, or else it's not going to match up with the sky. It's going to turn out very small. Okay, let me import that sky comparator. Oh no, yeah, sky comparator. You see that? Okay. So the sky, you bring it in, you want to see the other side, you should go and go to shading, go to backface cowling, then you can see, oh, now, yeah, this thing is actually matching up, right? Correct. Just now it was very small, right? Any questions so far? Questions? Yuxian?
That's great and all, but I still haven't gotten anything about the unwrapping part.
Don't worry, I'm doing it step by step right now from scratch. Okay, Can? So be patient. So be patient. Okay, now this guy, after you have done all the so-called the sizing, resizing, and the pivot point changing and all that things, right? You want to reduce. You want, for a fast method, I'm not going to do the quad draw method because I don't have the time. And seriously speaking, I think I have no problem with all of you if you really want to go and just use the ZBrush Z-Remesh method. When a colleague asking me to chat and say cannot, sorry, cannot, got class. I cannot have having class now. After 1 p.m. can. Okay. What the? Esther, later you go and clarify what's your question. I don't know. Oh, okay. Let me demo this thing first. Okay, so now as it is, this guy, you take note of the try count. This is by default come out from what is that, from the rain 2 is 524288. Okay, we just write down 524288. Okay, that's the try count. Okay, I think, and then also take note of the word count. 263169. If I'm not wrong, ZBrush go by word count, not by try count. Okay, so this is a word count. This is a try count. Okay, so we are going to use ZBrush to Z-Remesh to reduce the poly count, and also the aim is also anything that's underneath the sea we don't need, right? Unless you want to do underwater world, all that kind of stuff, which I would strongly suggest not to. Okay, even if you're going to do that, you can actually still cut through this thing, and then you can just create a circular plane which has even lower poly count, right? And it still, it still be better than what the heck is all these faces for. You see, it's like, do you need all these faces? You don't want that, right? So anything down here is useless. No, all this is useless, especially this portion that's outside of the circle of the sky, right? Then you can reduce the poly count for sure. So later on in ZBrush, right, we're going to definitely we're just going to select this area, right? And then throw away all the other faces outside. Also that we can reduce the poly count. So besides trying to UV unwrap a better UV unwrap, right? Okay, we are also trying to reduce the poly count. Understand? You get the concept now? So I'm trying to go through the work process part by part with the important, highlighting the important thinking process. Understand, Yuxian? Okay, so now I'm going to export this file as a FBX or OBJ so that I can import into ZBrush. And I think I've done it before. Let me see. Export the. Yeah, I think I have. Let me just keep it as it is first, and then I see. Go ahead. I go to my ZBrush. I hope my ZBrush can handle so many things open up. Okay, ZBrush. Squid Game. See, Squid Game so popular that even ZBrush. Okay, let's go to document, create new document so that we utilize the whole space, and then we're going to import. It's gonna think import. What do you want me to import? I think it's CW terrain X FBX. Yeah, that's the one. Then I'm going to import. I don't care, all these things is fine. So now you see down here that there is this particular terrain, pull it out. See, it takes a while. I don't know what's going on with my ZBrush and my computer. It's like there's always this lag time. It's not responding. Okay, now it's responding. And then you press T. Well, actually, T is the shortcut to turn on the edit mode. Okay, now then you can rotate and all that stuff. Okay. Now, in ZBrush, if you want to see double-sided, right now you see at the bottom one, right? Because the normals are not facing the camera, you cannot see on. It's like it's kind of like so you have to like backface cowling thing like that. So you can go to display properties and then turn on double. Then you can see double-sided, and then okay. Oh. It's kind of weird angle, right? Then you can turn on perspective. Okay. And if you want to help yourself to see this thing better, actually where actually is the sky area, you can actually also import. Okay, let me see. Right now, okay, I just want to show you it can be kind of mind-boggling for ZBrush. It's like, okay, now you're down here, right? This one is C terrain X mesh, right? Down here. Okay, so I'm going to import the sky dome or the half hemisphere size comparator. But when I import, right, it doesn't import over here in the subtool. It's kind of weird. It will actually import over to somewhere around here in this tool area. Okay, so watch import. So I'm going to import my sky. Okay, so that I can have a size comparator inside ZBrush so that I know how much to cut on the seabed. Okay, how much of the seabed should I cut? Open. It's gonna think. Okay, then you see got this sky, and then it's like, hey, where is my freaking terrain? Gone already. So don't panic. Okay, with the sky. I think the sky also haven't. Okay, never mind. You don't need to draw down here. As long as this sky is inside this so-called project, right? That's what we want. Then we go back to this one. Okay. Now in the subtool, you go and append. Append is like adding on a second layer. Okay. And then now you can look for the sky. And then I say, I want to append the sky. Append the sky. No, you see the sky is in already. So now in this subtool, you have the terrain and then the sky. And then now you know for sure, if I want to cut off the seabed, right, this is how much I should cut off. I have the sky dome to like give me the a rough gauge. Understand so far? So now if I go to move it and all that, I still can see the sky. Can you see that? Just going to change it to the base material. Questions? You notice that the sky by default come in is like kind of faceted one. If you feel like, wow, I don't like this faceting, go to geometry, divide, then it will be divide again, then it will be oh smooth already. But yeah, not necessary. It's just here to guide you. Okay, that's why I'm not going to do anything about that. Okay, so just in case this thing right can actually, this is like undo. This guy also overly high but you don't care or actually you should care. This one you should actually move it up. So we go to move it to the side view, and then make sure that your sub tool is on the sky, right? And then you go to your move. You can move it upwards. Don't have to be exact, but at least now you know you have a better gauge of how much area to cut. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Turn on the sky. Okay. So now, before I do Z-remesh, I don't need all these areas, right? So I'm going to cut them off first. Right now, also you take note of, if you roll over this guy and you stay down there, right, it will tell you, what is the poly count? So you notice that the polys, right, for this one, it says at least, not the total, look at the CW, whatever, it's 262144, which is 262. I don't know how it, yeah, okay, sorry. I don't know, it's the points that is the vertices. So it's 263169, which is exactly the number of vertices indicated in Maya. Okay, 263169. I don't know how to calculate the polys, whatever. But at least we know the points. Okay, Ken? So we want to reduce this, okay? This number, these points, okay? Because right now it's like 263,000, which is like ridiculous. It's like in millions already. It's 2 million poly count. Okay, and if you don't care and you bring it into you bring it into Unity, right? Yesterday, one of the students kind of have close ZBrush. No, sorry, I closed ZBrush by mistake. Okay, that sucks. Okay, anyway, I'm resetting this thing. One of the students, he has a poly object that is like 120. No, actually it's just 128,000 poly count, and then you bring it into Unity, right? And then he tried to do the poly brush painting, the texture painting and stuff. Basically, Unity freak out, and it start to like do funny things. Okay, so yeah, you have to reduce the poly count. Okay, let me bring in the stuff again. To bring it in. Oh, come on, ZBrush. Yeah, there's always this lag. I don't know why. It's so sucky. Come on, ZBrush. Now it comes out. See, there's a lag. I don't know why is it like that. Frame it. Double-sided it. Actually, don't need I don't need the double-sided. In a perspective, I'm going to sub 2 right now, I see if I were to append right now, I just show you all. If I have not imported in the sky, right, if I want to try to append, right, the sky is not there for me to choose. Okay, understand? That is why you have to import it. But do take note that when you import, it doesn't import immediately as a second layer in the sub 2, even though you are choosing that particular layer right now. So that's the quirkiness of ZBrush C. Not the sea, sorry. I want the sky. Okay, and it'll come out here. Go back to here. Come on. Don't crash on me. Okay, I'm gonna freaking close my Maya. I think it's screaming. Don't save. Yeah, okay. Seems to be smoother now. And then now, and when I append, now the sky is available for you to choose. Then you choose it. Then you will have a second layer. Questions? No, so now we're gonna cut it. I'm gonna change this color to white. Tish. Then from the top view, like this, we know that this. Oh wait, for just now forgot about the sky. Whether I need to move it upwards. Okay, it's fine. Okay. So want to do the circular selection, right? Okay, so take note. If you're still unclear about how to use ZBrush, you press Command Shift. You notice that this selection rectangle, this is by default. If I Command Shift and then I do this thing green color, right? I will, whoops. No, I'm on the sky one. That's why it's not working. I need to be on this terrain thing. By the way, let's just rename it as a terrain auric. Okay. Actually, can rename it as simple T auric or T original. Okay. So if I were to Command Shift and do this, right? I drag the marquee green color rectangular thing. Whatever's inside the green color thing will be kept visible, while the rest will be hidden. And in the, let me see, if you go to geometry, there's something called modify topology. You can delete hidden. Once you delete hidden, anything that is hidden will be gone. Okay. So now, if you go and Command Shift and then I go drag marquee outside, outside the mesh, right, and then release, right, it will inverse the selection. Okay. Or if you Command Shift and now you just press once, it will review everything again. Okay. This is what we call selection masking. Okay. Questions? Okay, so now the problem is we want to do a circular. Let's say you want to do a circular one. Okay, so just to start off with and show you can Command Shift. You see down here there's the okay, sorry, I forgot another thing is if I Command Shift and then I press the, or should I say for your case is Control Shift, and then press the, I think for your case is alternate button, but for my case Mac is Option button. I drag out, it's red color instead of green, right? What happens is now whatever's inside the red color is going to be hidden. Okay, so it's like the reverse, so to speak. Okay, and then if I were to Command Shift Option, and then I drag outside, it will inverse again. And then if I want to review everything, same thing, just clap, then it's open. Questions? I know the keys of ZBrush, it takes some time to get used to. So it might do you good to just note down. Let's write down what I just mentioned about. Okay. Then So now I want to do a circular selection instead of a rectangular selection. So Command Shift, this rectangular thing, I can change it to circle. Okay, if I change it to circle now, I can draw a circle as circular as I want. I can. It's for some reason this one doesn't allow you to do the shift to make sure that it's definitely a circle. So, and then you release your Command Shift, right? While you're still holding on to your left mouse button, you can press the space bar. Notice that the icon becomes a hand. You can move the green area to wherever you want. And then after that, you release your left mouse button. All the other part that is not highlighted in green will be gone. Will be hidden, not gone. Right now, it's still hidden. Okay, it's hidden. You notice that I did it in such a way that it's within that sky whatever area, right? Okay, so now I'm going to go to modify topology. Basically, go to geometry first, then modify topology. Under modify topology, there's something called delete hidden. So I'm going to press delete hidden. And now if I were to Command Shift and then draw something outside, right? By right, it should, sorry, not draw outside. Command Shift and then click once, right? By right, it should review everything again, right? But there's nothing to review because I thrown out the outside stuff already. Questions? With this, right? If I were to go back to sub 2, right? Okay. And then I look again, hover over this. Now it's already, in terms of the points, the number of vertices, right, is 95599. Okay, 995. Uh, 95599. So previously, right, it was 263169, right? Which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 digit. And the sixth digit is actually 2. Now, right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digit. So it's quite a big reduction in vertex point really. Okay, and you still can continue to cut. No, right now, if I were to go to the Command Shift, right, the selection tool, instead of using circular, I can choose lasso. Okay, now I choose lasso, right? I can go Command Shift. I should go Command Shift and then Option, and then I draw the red color things, right? I can try to draw some kind of coastal area around here. You still need to have some kind of margin, just know about bleeding kind of things, right? Sometimes you still need to have some kind of margins like this, just in case. Okay, and then I can select all this. Okay. And don't be overly obsessed, like just as I try my best to make it organic. Then you can go back to geometry, delete hidden. Okay, you probably can cut more down here. Command Shift Option or your alternate. And delete hidden. Delete hidden. Okay, so now go back to sub 2, right? We go to this one. Oh, come on. Sometimes I don't know why suddenly it doesn't show the number, but I'm quite sure it's going to be even lower. Okay. Yeah. Come on. Don't know why it's not showing the number, but yeah, that's that. Okay, never mind. It's not showing, but any case, it's still not done yet. Right now, this guy is still very high poly. You can, just to be safe, you can always duplicate this guy. Okay, and then we rename this guy, say T, we're going to Z remesh this one. Okay, and then we're going to hide the previous one. And then let's see this guy, pull this thing. This visible count, you can change it so that now, I'm going to show more and all that stuff. So it's kind of weird UI, but that's that. Okay, Z remesh. Actually, now you don't really need the sky thing already. Then Z remesh. I'm going to go to geometry. There's something called Z remesher. And then right now, just take note, right now, if I were to press Shift F, right, look at this thing, all the grids, right, I mean the edge loops, right, it's actually by default with the code one, it's coming out as in a very orderly manner, which is like vertical and horizontal lines, right, in terms of the edge loops. Okay. And now this one is not, you see, and it's because of that also, not just because of the UV unwrap. You notice down here, all this kind of bad topology like this, right, is also causing stretching. Okay, so this is bad topology. Okay, so I also noticed that some of you, when you're doing so-called quad draw, right, when you're quad drawing, you're still creating something that looks like this. Then it's like, why do you even do quad draw? Okay, because if you're doing quad draw, you have to follow, when you're designing the topology, right, the edge loop topology and stuff, right, you have to follow the contours of the terrain and then design how it links from one silhouette to the other. Okay, you cannot think like in a hard surface kind of modeling mindset already. Okay, so if you do not understand, you can always use Z remesh, right, to get a better feel of what exactly organic kind of topology will look like. So now I'm just going to it's not ideal to go and Z remesh when you're in this wireframe mode, or don't make ZBrush crash. ZBrush is pretty unstable one. Okay, Shift F. And then now Z remesher, I'm going to, down here, I can say I want it half. Okay, and then I say Z remesh. So it's thinking right now. Oh, ting. Some details will be lost one for sure. But for something this big, I think should be okay, because the details that you really want is using the texture and normal maps to of the surfaces to get. Okay, so now you see Z remesh already. If you can press Shift F, right, you notice that now the edge look is different one. And it has a more organic feel. You see that? Can you all see the difference? Can I get a response?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Can also understand, right? Now, those superficial details, you can't do a lot unless you go and subdivide your Z remesh. But we do not want to export a super high definition Z remesh anyway. But you can try to get back some of these details from your original by, okay, you need to make sure that you turn this one on. You turn off your sky, or don't, because you're not factoring the sky. Go back to TZ remesh, right? There is something called project here. Okay, under the sub tool, then you can say I want to project all by looking at whatever is visible other than this particular layer, and then so I will just say project all, and then you see there's a change lah, but it's a very slight change because you can't force something that's super low poly to get a lot of details, but at least you're getting some details for sure. Okay, because just now you see that there's a jump. Okay, if I go back to here, right, just now, see that there was a jump. See that? Can? Well, that means that it is slightly more closer to the high poly already. Understand? So this is the projection part. So once that is done, okay, now this guy, you can go and export it out to Maya. Sorry, let me think. Yeah, you need to export it out as a OBJ or a FBX to Maya for UV unwrap. Okay, understand? And now this guy, right, can be sucky. It's not coming out the number. In any case, we're going to bring this into Maya. So I think I've done something. Let me think. Yeah, I'm just going to export it out first, just in case. Export. Then it's OBJ by default. You can change it to FBX. You're going to use FBX. Then you say TZ remesh. Don't need anything. Then it will come out as .fbx. Then I'm going to put it into my desktop first. Where are you? Desktop. Okay. Save. And you're done with ZBrush. No, not yet. Okay. Did something just now, just in case I'm going to export it again. Because I accidentally touched the surface, so it got sculpted. Okay, now I can, okay. Now I can close my ZBrush. No! So I have the T, this one is the one that is exported out. This one is the old one. Okay, I'm going to throw away this one. So back to Maya. Probably can close this also. I want this. I still need this. What the heck? Quit lah. Any questions so far?
Not for me.
I'm too soft. Why nice? Everything is going. I got gremlins these past few days. Technical gremlins. Do you all know what is Gremlin or not? Used to be, there's a series of movie called Gremlins. But it's very old. Okay, so I'm going to import the desktop one. Remesh FBX. And then again, I will not be able to see it because select camera, far clip and near clip thingy. Okay. And if you want to, you can the heck, import your sky. No, you suck. Let's go back to this thing. Go to Q. No, this one. No. Where is my sandbox, my Maya sandbox, my 3DE, my scenes, my this one, my I bring in my C. Okay, and then I press 6 to show the textures. Okay, so you see that, oh, whatever down here, there's at least some kind of beach area that can, kind of like have submerged, slowly go, and then there's a margin, you see. You do take note that there's this C thing, right? Later on, I can't remember which week that we are going to make it move. It's going to animate procedurally or with our shader graphs. So if this thing is exactly at the coastal line, right, then when you move, right, then it's like, you're going to see holes. Also better, you need to have that margin, so to speak. Okay. Questions? Now we look at this guy right now, you choose this guy. Is the vertices, right, is the 30,000 only. Compared to previously, it was like 263,000. So you have reduced it by multiple fold, more than 50%. Okay, and with 30,000, definitely this guy is not going to freak out in Unity. Questions? Now the question is, Yuxuan, you're talking about the UV unwrap part. Now you have to understand different island. I don't know how you're going to sculpt it. Every island has its own unique shape. Then there is no fixed rule as to how you go and UV unwrap, but you need to understand the concept so that it can be applied over with whatever organic thing. Okay, it doesn't mean just the island, trees, whatever it is. There is some kind of basic rules, so to speak. Because in the past, you always use automatic unwrap and stuff. It's like it give you very crappy stuff. When it comes to organic things, you need to think much more fluidly. So watch how I do it. So this is how I would do with this particular island, but I might do it differently from other islands. Now, because this guy, his one is like, this portion is super distinct, that is all like that. There's no like going downwards one, or that's his choice. So I will attack it as it is long. Okay, so now going to the UV editor. So just take note, you need to be flexible, understand the concept, don't understand the steps. Okay. Now for ZBrush, right, when they export out anything, right, unless you UV unwrap within ZBrush, which is another can of worms, because the way that ZBrush unwrap things is also very different from Maya or whatever. It's like they always try to do things very different, but they have their reason. If you understand them, they are actually trying to make it much more efficient for people who are not technical but more artistic inclined, more like traditional sculptors. Okay, so they have their reasons. So because we didn't do UV unwrap in ZBrush, because I know for sure if I introduce that to you all will freak out. There is no UV at all when it comes out, and you import it into Maya. So by default, I'm just going to turn off the checkered pattern. By default, we're just going to use a planar map. Then we're going to use a y-axis, apply. So immediately there is this kind of UV map already. But this UV map, if you turn on a checkered thing, right, it's the same as your Unity's terrain tool, how it deals with Unity terrain sculpted mesh. Is crappy like crazy. You can see that, especially for this island, it's like so high all around. Okay, and that's because if I were to turn on this guy, right, see the third button, right, which is it will show where are the areas that is very stretched out one. I turn off this thing and then I say go. Oops, sorry, this guy. You notice that all this area at the side is super red one. Okay, it means it's like you're overstretching me. I'm screaming red. No, you see that? Yeah. So now you need to try to solve it. So the way to solve it is how I'll deal with it. Now, first thing, I want to make sure that this C, I cannot select it. I put this C into this guy, add to this sky dome layer, which kind of come in with this C when I imported it, and then make it R so that I cannot choose it by mistake. Okay. So now I can only choose the island. Let me then, I'm going to turn off this, so that, and then I'm going to go to side view, frame it. Now this side view, you need to understand when you go to a side view camera, the so-called near clip plane and far clip plane has also changed back to the default. So right now, if I were to select, you notice that I could go to face mode, and then I try to select this area, or this protruding area, right? And then I go to perspective. You notice that I only selected a portion of this area, and all this is not. This is due to the near clip plane and far clip plane. Basically, just now when we adjusted the perspective camera, we did not adjust the side views camera. So when you go to your right view, you need to go to select camera, then go to attribute editor, and then this one you need to go and add a few more zero, this one 10, or then now if you go to whoops, I know there's artifacting, don't worry. See, go to Facebook. I don't know why my arrow, see, when it's hand, oh, so just now we only selected this part only. Now we want to, hopefully we'll select more. Going to go to face, and then I'm going to drag. Okay, so now you see selected more. Okay, then you don't care. You want to cut out from this main, the other parts, right? You just go create. I say, I don't care, just camera basis. Okay, and then now you can UV shell, and then down here transform, you can move it one. Okay, this one also can move it. Oh, actually move it somewhere else. You don't worry about it being a mess at the moment. Don't worry. There are some parts that is kind of cut off like that, right? We'll deal with that later on. This is like like stray things. We'll deal with that later on. Okay, now this one is still a mess, right? So what I'm going to do is next is right now, if you're going to go to perspective mode, right? No, go object mode. Then I go spacebar, go to perspective view. At least for this particular island, I'm not saying that it's all true for everything. What I can do now is I can try to select all these faces at the very top because it's so flat, right? And then for that particular those faces, right, I can do another planar y-axis projection. So that's what I'm going to do. So right view. Okay, and then I'm going to faces. And then I'm going to, I don't know why the cursor now has this kind of weird shape. Then I'm going to choose all this area at the top. Okay, and then I'm just going to go create planar, look for the y-axis, and then apply. And you're going to cut, right? You will always go to the first quadrant. Then now I can move it. Okay. Okay. Now this one, we know for sure. And when you're doing all this, it's going to start to stack history. So once in a while, you might want to just choose this thing and then delete history. Okay, and then I'll go to my perspective view. So the top, and then we have the side. Now the side, if we want to open it up, right? You know that if I were to go and UV and go and like shift, sorry, what the heck? Sorry, object mode, or go to UV shell, choose this one, and then I say shift, unfold, right? You can't unfold because it's right now, this thing is actually a circular thing that is infinitely is connected to each other. It's like a ring, right? So it cannot unfold. Then you need to think, okay, I need to find a place where I can just cut a seam so that I can unfold this whole stretch of a side view faces. Okay. So then I'm going to go to edges. Then, oh, the heck, what is wrong with my arrow? My arrow is gone. Sucky. So we can try our best to see where does it go. I think if you go down here, okay, let's see down here, then it will go all the way here. I can double click, and then then I can come here and let's say cut. Then there will be a seam. Okay. And once there's a cut right now, I can quite easily go to UV shell, choose this guy, and then say shift, right click, unfold. It will say there's some kind of manifold, whatever. Just say fix it. Do save your file once in a while before you do this. Sometimes it might crash my Yao. So you see this thing is super long, right? Obviously, like that also become, I mean, it's unwrapped, but it's very unmanageable inside this. How you're going to put inside all these quadrants. Even if one quadrant or multiple quadrants is like going to be difficult. So it might be better that you somehow cut it into smaller pieces down here. So find another place. I don't know. Trying to maybe somewhere around here. There's another one. So you can go click. Not easy or cut. I look for easy cut. Then cut here, cut. Okay, and then where else? Maybe here, another one. Cut. Maybe here, another one. What the? Yeah, I guess. Cut. But are you all getting the idea? Can I get a response?
Only somewhat.
Okay, cut. Cut. It's still very long, this particular strip. So I'm going to find another one here. No. Cut. Maybe half this one. Cut. Okay. Then we could there's going to be some other parts, but for now, I'm just going to go UV shell, choose everything like this, right? And then I say go shift, right click, and then go layout UV. You push everything into one singular quadrant, okay, at the moment, okay? Then from here, you know, there's still some got issue on that. Okay, let me go to object, then delete history. Okay. So then we have to deal with this guy, right? UV shell. Sometimes it's like, hey, where is this guy? You can choose this guy and then go press frame here. Okay. Oh, it's down here. It's all red. Sucky suck. Then how do I solve this thing? Then one of the easy ways to cut it to half or maybe even to quadrants. Okay, for this thing, this particular one. But not that easy because we can try by go to H. So and does it go to the other side? It doesn't. We don't want to cut here. Let me see where it ends first. And after it ends here, I'm going to choose this thing, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Then all this we do not want to cut yet because this one's another UV shell. Control, okay. And then say go here and then cut. Did it cut? Yep, it cut. So it cut through. Let's see if I were to now choose the UV shell here and then say, unfold. See what happens. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna move it a bit. No red, less red color. So now unfold. Okay. Okay. There is something missing. Later on, we'll deal with all those stray stuff. You get the idea? Some weird stuff. Later, we'll deal with those. Next one is this guy. We shall choose this guy. Where exactly it is? Frame here. Is here. Actually, it can be added on. So actually, this one, I'm going to go to the edge, right? Where is this one? This is the top portion. Okay. Never mind. I'm just going to what the okay. One way to do this is to choose this guy, choose all the edges because I want to link it back to the main piece. Choose all the edges. Selection, there is something called after you choose the edges and you can select a texture border. I guess not. It's going to select every border. Wow, okay lor. Die liao. It's going to crash. No, it's going to crash. See, that's why I say you should save before you do every step here. Okay. Anyway, it's crashing. But I think I have a sample of this one that I did previously. Okay, so I'm going to stop my Maya. But you get the idea of how I'm approaching it. Okay, later on you see all the it did. Okay, yeah, it's selected. This is not what I want actually. So by right, what I want is to actually select. Oh, but my arrow is back. Just now was some weird cursor. Okay, let me try to get all this. And then I'm going to sew it back, move and sew. Okay, so it's sewn to some main piece already. And then all this, right, you see got all this stray stuff, right? It's the same thing. You just go look at this one. You just need to be careful. Sometimes when you try to move and sew, right, it will actually sew back two big pieces. Then you have to undo. Move and sew. Okay, let's see. Did it do some weird stuff of sewing two big pieces together? Then no. Okay, then it's okay. So let's move and sew. Double check. No. You look at this guy, I think it has the same issue. Move and sew. Let's see, is there anything? Nope, it's okay. Move and sew. Anything? Okay, no weird stuff, good. I think all these smaller ones should be okay. It will not, yeah, but just don't assume. Sometimes like it will just like link two of the UV shells that you actually cut out, and then it just messes it. Okay, then you have to undo. Then now all this, right, this particular circular one, right, would it be better if I cut it into smaller pieces so that I can actually unwrap better? Because right now, if you look at this, if I click on this guy, there might still be some red areas. And also for this one, the circular thing might, because of the fact that it's like this way, it makes it very difficult to control. This one is like, it might be better if we do a cut somewhere and then further unwrap or unfold. Sorry. Then I go cut. Then after that, we choose this UV shell. And then we go unfold. This one, unfold. Now at least there is less of those distortion thing. We want to go even further. It all depends on how much you want to like. You have to understand, trying to get rid of all this to become white color is impossible. You just have to try your best to reduce. Like this one is like, hey, maybe I can reduce it. Then I can go H. The best you can do is to reduce it, not try to remove it totally. And also to kind of like reduce it to the point where it's actually as less red or as less blue as possible. Okay. Cut. What? I didn't ask for that other side. See, then to be careful. Cut. Okay, then UV shell. Unfold. See, now the last rate already. Unfold. And no, this can take forever lah. I'm just showing you. But this part definitely it will actually help if we cut it more. Like, the heck. Click cut. Maybe even somewhere around here. Cut. Then we can choose this shell, right? What the? UV shell. Didn't cut through. Yeah, let me see. That means this thing didn't cut through. What? UV shell. How come it's still looking at it as one singular? That's weird. I already cut, right? See this thing? And just double, and I'm gonna cut it again. Ugh. UAH. Cut. Don't know why. UV shell. I'm still reading it as one singular one. That is weird. Anyway, let me try the other part. No, this is not. Cut. We shall. Okay. Unfold. We shall unfold. Okay. So this part is a bit weird, but let's see if I can do it. Don't know. I'm just trying out. Can I do this? Unfold. Oh, I can. Okay. I choose the faces and I say go unfold. Okay. So now there's less of that red color things. Well, some cannot. Like this one maybe can unfold. See? So yeah. Sorry, my wife is also working from home. Tough time. Okay, so anyway, let's try again to do this UV shell. Choose all of them and then say shift right click and then layout. Obviously you can still continue lah. Like, what the heck is this? Want to see this part? Faces. Let me see if I can just unfold like that. But it might be better to cut this piece to more pieces. Okay. Anyway, there is still some issues down here. Obviously, then it's because of here. So those parts might need to further unfolding. Okay. Or further cuts on that, because just now when I cut this part, right, I just hantam bola here, you see. Okay, so that's that law. Any questions? So this part actually should still touch out lah. Questions? But now, right, at least we have turn on this this thing, right? Except for the top portion, right? You know, it's much better. This part you still have to solve lah. Can? Questions? Just trying to see if I can like just go.
Sorry, but just to clarify, what you did was to go into one of the orthographic projection views, then select the thing based on like level. Is that right, or
again? What's your question?
You
rephrase it. Yeah.
I actually managed to miss the part where you select like the UV shells to like then separate and then to cut. So I am not exactly sure how you managed to get the beach or like the coastline or the part below the sea. Like
I started out by default. I just use a UV. Planar projection with the y-axis. Okay. Well, that's the very beginning. And then after that, I go to the side view, right? I select all the faces on the side, right? Remember? So from the side view, I select all the faces that is on the side. So those are the parts that is projecting out from the so-called the coastal area, right? Which is much more horizontal. Okay, so I choose all from the side view. I choose all the faces that is projecting out. Okay, even including the top, I don't care.
Top view or side view?
Side view, right? And then basically, I don't care what kind of projection I use. Okay, I just go. Usually, I would when I try to cut out a UV, right, from a bigger piece of UV shell, right, I'll just go camera base. I don't care what kind of projection I use. I just use camera base. Then it will cut out that particular faces, all the faces that I've chosen, right? It will give a camera based projection. And in this case, it's a side view. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is, because later on I'm still going to further cut it so that I can or add on like the way I show you all. I just go some of the edges. I cut an edge, right, so that I know for sure I need a seam down here so that I can unwrap better, man. Understand?
Wait, so planar from top view, then camera based on side view.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, lor.
Okay.
But you have to choose the faces of the side, all the side protruding terrain faces lah. Because you're trying to cut off the terrain that is protruding out, right? Those mountainous area, right? Out from the so-called the flat ground, man.
Yes, but then there's also like the beach areas, because not all of them are perfectly flat. Like
Yeah,
there's
but
some
I know not all of them are perfectly flat, but once you cut out that thing, right? Okay, let me use Photoshop to show you, to explain to you.
This is too much.
And I don't have a Wacom pen with me right now, but okay, let's say beginning part, there is no UV, right? Okay, and then after that, I select the whole object, right? And then I go and planar map y-axis downwards, right? Then I'll get a big shell that is something like this. Right? Okay. So now I know for sure in the island, at least for this particular one, right? That this island looks like this, somewhat like that lah. Then it has this part is that protruding thing, and then you have all this coastal area. I know the coastal area is not perfect. There's some also protrusion and stuff. But what now? After that, right, I go to my side view, right? I'm choosing all the faces down here. All this.
The QOA2, right?
All these areas. And then I just do a camera projection. Okay, camera projection, when that is done, right, this area that is basically this area that has been selected, right, okay, it will be cut off. But obviously it will look very ugly because first, if I'm using a camera projection on the side, right, there will be overlapping UVs for sure. You understand this portion? Can I get a confirmation? Or no, yes, no.
Yes.
Yes, it's a very uncertain yes. Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Yes, So now I know for sure this one is messy, right? Okay. I know that, okay, you're concerned about this thing, this portion, right? Which is right now is left with this area, right? This particular UV shell there's a hole down here, right? Because it has been cut out, this particular portion has been cut out, So this part is all a hole, right? Now, if I can, let's say you don't want, let's not deal with this part first. You're so concerned about this portion that has some little humps and all stuff, right? You can go here. Let's say now this one is being cut out, got a hole. You can go and find suitable areas. Go and cut more edges. Okay, and how did I do all this edge cutting? I go to the UV editor, I actually go and select whichever edge, and then I just shift right click, cut, right? You get what I mean? Then after that, right, all these shells, right, all these separate shells, right, you can choose them one by one, and then go shift right click, unfold.
Wait, no, but my concern is the terrain part where you are highlighting all the terrain above the beach or the coastline. Because what if the coastline isn't perfectly flat?
Down here, it doesn't matter even if it's not perfectly flat, right? Once you cut off all this, right, this particular small area, right, later on when you unfold, right, those not perfectly flat areas, right, it will, when you use unfold, right, Maya's algorithm will try to make sense of it, right, and try to unfold it as best as it can. You understand what I'm saying? As long as it's a smaller piece of a smaller patch of UV shell, right, it's easier for it to unfold, Understand? Just take note of this, okay? If you're uncertain about it, go and do it later on. When a shell is super big and it has a lot of different ups and downs and stuff, right? It's very difficult for Maya to care about the whole surface, the superficial area, right? And be able to unfold in a nice way, okay? To please everybody. Quite impossible. Okay, so in order to be able to unfold as best as it can, right? If you make the whole shell a bit more smaller, right? You break a big shell to smaller parts, right? And then you unfold it, right? It's easier for Maya as it can. You understand what I'm saying? The UV to be as flat as it can. Understand? Or just remember, if a big shell got issues, break it into smaller parts. Obviously, you break it into smaller parts, you need to consider about the shape and all that stuff. Like just now, this portion, when I break it into smaller part, right, the next step for this the particular part, right, I just very roughly just select the top portion to do a UV projection, planar projection, right, with the Y thing, right? And then all this part, right, is all this the side one, right? I just choose one of the edges, right, and then I just cut through. And once this one is cut through, right, you know that this portion, right, if I have cut and then this one is cut, right? This portion, the top portion will have one shell like that. And this one, right, will have one shell. If I were to draw it in 3D, it looks something like this. Roughly, and then there's a cut like that. Now this one, if I go and unfold, right, no, this thing will actually become like this, right? But because this one is so long, there will be issues. That's why I go and cut into smaller parts. And then each one of them I go and unfold again to so-called solve the bulging thing that is happening in this one long stretch. Understand? So you see the concept, the concept I'm using. No, I do big cutting first, and then I think how can I unfold this thing? Okay, logically. Then I will cut it, unfold this strip, and then I see that it's very unmanageable to begin with, something that's so long. You can't really force this thing into a one quadrant easily. And also there's also a lot of stretching because of the unbumpiness of certain areas of this particular side of the cliff. Okay, then I cut into smaller pieces. Remember, I cut into smaller pieces and then I unfold again. Understand? You get the idea? Now the problem with this portion, that's now when I use the side view, right? When I choose, right, there's actually faces that's like that one. That is the reason why, if you go and see right now, my one down here, there is this portion that is like still crappy. See that? This portion. No, the top, there's still distortion like that. Which means that I still have to go and try to find out I try to select all this, right? Only these faces at the top, right? As best as I can. And then cut it out from this main UV shell. And the same thing with this one, I can do again another like cut another edge down here, and then unfold it long. Or same thing like go back to Photoshop. Right from this one, right? Because when I select the face, I was very rough about it. So from this one now I move on. Okay, I move on to another page. I'm going to clean off. Okay, so we have this. This is the top portion, right? We still have this problem right now. Okay, so I'm going to try my best to select only the faces of this top portion, right? You can do a camera projection. That's not a problem. But I think a y-axis projection, planar projection will work. Okay, then this one will be cut out like that. Okay, and then this one, right, it will still remain as a shell like this, right? It's just the same as just previous one. Like that. Then you try to find another edge and cut here. You can unfold it to become a very long piece like that. Okay. And if you want to keep it seamless down here, right, you can, when you cut the smaller pieces, right, all these edges that you want to cut, right, you can always refer to the previous one, right, and then try to match it. Okay, and then cut into smaller pieces again, unfold. And then this one, the bottom portion has the previous one, right? If it's matching, right, you can always select these edges down. When you select the edge of this one, it will actually select this edge also, and then you can merge and sew, and then this two together, merge and sew together, will come together to become a bigger side piece, and without an additional edge, additional seam. So you get the idea. Can I get a confirmation? No, yes. The rest of the class, you all understand? Rest of the class? Or you understand?
Yes.
Understand? Yishan still don't understand?
I am unable to confirm.
Oh, you cannot confirm, neither can you deny. Okay, you try. Okay, just remember, if something is, if a big shell is not working out, it has a lot of red colors, and you press this button, you might need to break it into smaller parts. Okay, and the way to break it into smaller parts, you can cut it here if you want to, or you can select faces in general and then do a camera projection. Okay, and so that's that. It's now 10:45. Let's take a break. Come back at 10:55 and come back. We'll deal with the lesson. Class is small, so maybe we can still get to do the pitching thingy. It's important for the pitching thing. Now let me think. The thing is, we need to get into Unity already now. Okay, so Unity. Close Photoshop. Unity Hub. So in any case, the things that I'm going to show you is in the notes. It's in the notes in the mail right now. Actually, it's open like on Wednesday. On Thursday. On Tuesday. So Tuesday midnight. Open this guy. Double click. So if you go to mail, learning materials, week 2, there is a note down here. You can download it to follow along. Okay. Now make it very clear to you, this note is this process, right? You don't necessarily have like die you have to use this particular method of texturing for your assignment 1. Okay, I'm showing you this, right, so that you understand that there's this thing called vertex blending in real-time engine work process, which is often used in environment design. Okay, so somehow sooner or later you have to deal with it lah. Okay, maybe you can avoid it in assignment 1 right now, but in the future, should you pursue this particular career, sooner or later you have to deal with this. That's why I'm showing you all this shader graph manipulation. And also even for this one, right, it's like you're not building this, or actually you don't even have to build this thing if you do not care about it. Okay, because I'm not making this a CA or whatever. Okay, but if you want to use this for assignment 1, you have to do this. And you're not building this from scratch, okay? Because I don't want to make life overly difficult for you. But the notes, right, they actually does cover a portion where you actually build this shader from scratch, so that you can, if you really want to, right, you can go up to 5 textures. Right now, for this shader that you get from Polybrush, right, the maximum that you can use is 4. By default, I think the maximum you can go to 5 if you build from scratch. I'm not sure more than that. There might be ways, but is at the moment from my research work is beyond my scope. I don't think it is possible at the moment, but I'm sure there are people who are smart enough to overcome that. Okay, but to me, it's like, well, if it's going to be more than 5, you might as well just do it with Substance Painter already. Okay, doesn't make sense anymore. Okay, so that's that. So this is where we ended up previously, where whatever mesh that we imported in from Maya that is which has better UV unwrap. Okay, we make it become a polybrush material terrain. Okay, so polybrush, we gone through last week how you can go to asset management, package manager to go and import in the poly brush and all that stuff. Then you can fire up poly brush window from here. Okay, that will be this tools, and then there's poly brush. Okay. So now if you choose this particular terrain that has been the poly brush, right? When you import, there is also samples. You need to import the sample as like a DLC like that. If you don't import it, it's not going to be there by default one. Then you go to poly brush as a shader example. So basically what you do is you just right click on this. There's the texture and the vertex. Okay. So you need to choose the texture one. Then you go right click, create, and then go create a material. And then once the material is created, I actually pull it over to the materials. This is the poly brush one. It counts with three.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. We cannot see it.
Sorry. Yeah. Let me shift my. Never mind. I'll use this one. Okay. Good. At least your response. Okay. So now choose the poly brush, right? So by default, it has this 1, 2, 3, 4 slots, okay, that you can attach textures. Okay, just bear in mind the first texture, right, is considered the base color. It's like, think of it like, oh, if I attach this one, right, by right, I should flood the whole island with this as a base color first, and then I can paint texture 2 on top of this one, or texture 3 on top of this one, or texture 4 on top of this one. So there is a base color down here. Understand? Yeah, so take note of this base color thing. Important. Okay, so now the problem with the default poly brush shader that is given to your by poly brush is there is no way that you can change the tiling or the so-called the UV tiling parameter, so that if you make it a higher value, right, this thing will not be so big one, the texture, okay? So right now it's like by default, all of them are 1. And it's ridiculously, it's not matching out in terms of the texture scale to the mesh, the terrain mesh, the scale. Because if you think about it, this guy, where's my freaking UE4 guy? I move him over here, especially here. You think that the moss is this big, and this guy is so small, wow, it's like maybe he's a Lilliputian, no, but this is ridiculous, right? Something is wrong with the texture tiling for sure. Okay, but the problem is I can't make any changes down here. I'm stuck with this 111. No, so that is one problem. Okay, with that we need to solve. Another problem we have is if you look at the texture right now, you have no parameters to put in normal maps. And you know that without the normal map is less realistic for sure. Okay, so then again, not as nice. Okay, so the aim is we want to modify this poly brush shader and include these 2 features. First, we want to be able to control the tiling parameter, on how I can tile the texture, okay, so that it matches the scale of the mesh, the terrain mesh. Second is I want to include normal map. Okay, so very clear-cut motifs. And then now how do we do it? So in the poly brush material that you created, right, you can click on this triple in the inspector when you choose this poly brush, right? You see this part, there's these 3 dots, right? You can see, right? You click on this thing, you go to edit shader. Can see? Can I get a confirmation?
Yes.
Edit shader, fire up, you see basically the shader graph will come out. I'm going to pull it out. Eee, come on. Yeah, so now like that. So in my notes, that's actually I learned from this particular guy from he has this channel called Polytoot. I actually learned a lot of stuff from him, Polytoot. So yeah, so there is two links. You can go and watch the video. And then he actually covers some stuff that is much more much deeper. But that's where I learned. So an easy explanation of this thing, or actually there's no easy explanation, is now he built it from scratch. So the important thing in this particular system down here, right, this code, this is actually visual coding. There is this vertex color. This vertex color node, right, is basically a kind of like how should I put it? It kind of analyzes, okay, what is the color that is being given to the mesh, right? You know that mesh has vertices, right? Each vertex, right, can actually contain a color data. Okay, you can actually paint on this vertex. It's not texture. Just remember that it's actually color that is painted on the vertex. The vertex can actually, if with this vertex color node, right, you can actually put in color inputs, right, to each vertex. Okay, so this vertex color node, right, will house the data. You can use some kind of tools to paint the color, okay, onto the meshes, vertices. And in this case, for our system right now that we are banking on, because we are not creating the painting system at all. We are using the polybrush system to do the painting of the vertices. Okay, so with this vertex color, right, if we split this vertex color node, right, you can split it into RGB alpha. This is like by default when you talk about color. We are talking about RGB and alpha. Okay, so whatever you can basically, a vertex color you can actually paint red, green, blue, and then because of different shades of red and green and blue on the same vertex, right? It can create different percentages. Okay, so take note of that. Okay, if you think about it, right, each one of them is actually a alpha channel. I mean, like it looks like an alpha, like when you look at it, it's just a black and white masking. Okay, so think of them as masks. Okay, each channel is as a mask. Okay, so you notice that all these masks, right, from that, anything that's painted as green, anything that's painted as red, blue, sorry, anything that's painted as alpha, okay, is actually connected to three lobes, 1, 2, 3. It's a lob. This is the lob node. Okay, I think lob means linear interpolation in short. Okay, what exactly it does, maybe you all know better than me. Okay, I think it's something to do with clamping or whatever. I'm not quite sure exactly, but there's this linear interpolation node. Okay, so all this data from the color data from vertex color, right, split into whichever color channel is being plugged into each one of these lob, right? They're serving as masks. It's like alpha channels. Okay, they're serving as alpha channel. Okay, so now looking at this one, A and B input. So this one, the first texture, right, is the base color, right? Okay, the base color is going to the A. Then you have the second color, the second texture that is go to B. So whatever between this A and B, anything that is the mask, right, that's painted by a green color on the vertex of the mesh, right, it will reveal the texture 2 on top of texture 1. That's what this thing is doing, or the visual coding. Okay, so what it's saying is that look at texture A, input A, look at texture input B. Okay. Okay, we are going to put texture input B on top of texture input A. Okay, but how do we do that? We are looking at this T, which is an input from the color that was colored onto the mesh. And then we want to look at the green color channel. Is there any green color that is painted on this particular vertex? If it is, review, and what's the percentage? Okay, and then review texture 2 on top of texture 1. You get the idea? Can I get a confirmation? Yes or no? Don't keep quietly. Very sad. Keep quiet. If no, I assume that you all know. Yeah. Okay, so now going.
Can repeat.
Repeat. Okay. Okay. Let me see. You have this vertex color node that is basically right now, right? This particular vertex color node, right? Just imagine there's another system outside for painting vertex color. Okay. And that system, it will determine what is the data down here. Okay, so for our case, right? In this case, right, if you look at this, go to the tools, the polybrush window, right? Where is my polybrush window? Is here. Oh, by the way, let me explain this one also first. This polybrush window, you actually have this kind of different system, right? This one is actually for sculpting, for smoothing. This one actually is vertex color painting, but we are not using this particular using this tool. This one is for scattering, right? Scattering of all these boxes down here, which you later on you can use for scattering of your trees or grass and all that stuff. Then you have this one is the texture one. Okay. Now this one, okay, I want to go through this one, right? Just now I forgot to mention about this one. You choose this mesh right now that is applied with this particular poly mesh. You have to apply the polybrush material first. Okay, and then you go to this thing, right? Sometimes, right, you do that, right? It's like this thing is not showing up properly. Then you might want to like go to another tool and then come back. Kind of like need to refresh for some reason. Then you come back. Okay, but it's very important that you need to choose the terrain that has this material applied to it first on. Understand? Now, also one thing is when you first do this, right, for some reason, I don't know why, but this polybrush, right, it will only show 3 texture first. And for some reason, it doesn't show the base color one, the texture one. Okay. And in order to make the texture, the texture one to show up, right, because you know for sure that in this polybrush, if you go to this inspector, right, there is 4. My one right now is showing 4 because I did something lah. Okay, but first time you try to load this one polybrush, right, it will definitely show only 3 one. It will only show 2, 3, and 4, not the 1. So in order to make that show up, right, okay, let's see. Go back to that. I hate the fact that this tool cannot be on top. Okay. You press this configure. When you first load this thing, right? This albedo texture one, right, it doesn't have all these kind of things, right? It's basically blank. So what you need to do is this button, right? Instead of saying erase attribute, right, for the albedo texture one, it will say create attribute. You need to click on that particular button. Then it will actually load this texture. Then down here, right, you need to make sure that you take this is base texture. The next thing you need to do is you need to check. This guy is taking the red channel. This guy is supposed to be taking the green channel. This guy is taking the blue channel. This one is taking the alpha channel. Okay, so remember, you see this one, you notice that there's green, blue, and alpha. You're indicating to this system, this coloring system, right? That anything that you paint on the vertex of the mesh, right, with green color, I'm going to show this particular texture. Anything that you paint on the vertex of the mesh with blue color, I'm going to show this color. Anything that I'm going to paint on the alpha channel of this particular of this particular mesh, right, on the vertex, right, and I'm going to show this color. You understand? Okay, so now the painting system is this one. Okay, so this painting system, when you paint and all that stuff, right, it's going to push the data, right, of the vertex color, right, over to this vertex color node. Okay, and this vertex color node, right, you need to split this vertex color into the channels. They're separate channels: red, green, blue, and alpha. Understand so far? Understand? But maybe. Okay, you see, I just want to show you, be clearer in case. Go to Photoshop. Photoshop got new image. What the heck? Okay, found A4. So imagine this is your mesh. Anyhow. What am I doing? So let's say let's say this is your mesh. I say I paint blue, I paint by default for that system. It's kind of like the base thing is already red color. Okay, but let's say I got red, I got green, and then if you think about it, different. If you and then there's also alpha, okay. Alpha is, for this particular case, there's no alpha. I can always add on. Okay, new channel. Okay, alpha 1. Okay, and this one, right, I can actually paint something. I can, for this one, right, basically you're going to paint a white color for the alpha. No, what? Not painting anything. Oh, because of that. Like that. Okay. So, but you look at this RGB, right? But if I go to the red channel, go to just the red channel. Just now the blue is not pure blue. That's why that blue has a bit of red. Okay. Your green channel, you see that? There is some kind of alpha that's being created. Your blue channel. So imagine it's pure red and pure blue, but obviously in real life there's no pure. There's the alpha. So think of it as all of these are masks. Okay, and different percentages. So you get the idea. So the system, the polybrush system, allows you to paint colors onto the vertex that can be split into RGB and alpha. Understand? You get the idea? And all these, right, all these channels, right, they can be used to act as masks. Understand? People? Okay. And you all understand what is mask, right? I hope so. Okay, anyway, so all these RGB channels, right, they are being inputted into the LUT, right, as a mask. Okay, the T is like acting as a mask. Okay. So now this LURP, right? Well, for this LURP, right? This linear interpolation, linear interpolation node, right? What we are doing is the A and B, right? What we are saying is we are starting off with the A as a base color, and then we have B that's on top of it. Now, how do I decide whether B is going to appear on top of A, right? Is by this mask. Whatever is painted, the mask, right? That's anything that's painted as green color and whatever percentage it is, right? It's going to be a gray. This mask is going to look like a black and white one, gray tone, but it's not going to be like pure black and pure white. It's gradients of pure, and there will be grays in between. This is the mask. Whatever the mask is right, I'm going to review the B on top of A. Understand? Then obviously, then you get a color that is a mixture of A and B, right? Understand? Now this A and B, so-called the A and B one, think about it. These two colors as together one, whatever is happening, you bring it over down here. This is your base color now. Now your third texture. Look at the blue color channel. What is the mask like? On top of this, that means basing on this mask, right? I'm going to put on the third texture on top of this combined texture A. Understand? And then the same thing goes. Now you have three colors already, three texture come out to the A as your base color that has three textures, and then you have your fourth texture, right? Which is your sand right now, and then you go and analyze what is the alpha that is being painted on to the vertices, okay, which is acting as a mask. So analyze this mask, whatever is painted. I think if I'm not wrong, it's painted white. Okay. Show the texture 4. Understand? You get the idea? And then this one, the last one right now, all the 4 texture has been put together, right? This one last output go to your base color of this fragment node, no? Fragment node of your shader. Okay? Questions? So that is the concept. And this is like very basic vertex blending shader thing already. Okay. This is the visual scripting of it. Okay, now we want to focus on the tiling part. Okay. Right now, if you look at all these sample texture, right? You have a sample texture node, then you have the attachment of this texture. Basically, all this albedo texture 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Is this thing. Okay, I choose this polybrush. I look at this thing. It's actually this, and this. It's like a placeholder for you to be able to put in whatever texture you want. Okay, so these are basically exposed parameters, which is you can create from here on this right side. Okay, these are exposed parameters for the user to attach things to it or to change the value or whatever. Understand? Can I get a response? You all know what is open parameters, right? This is exposed.
Yes, yes. The issue is that it doesn't matter on my because the issue I'm having on my end is that apparently none of the textures I've chosen, so, like they're giving me like a warning or like a notice that none of the materials currently support texture blending when I'm using the same ones that you're using.
Did you choose when that error comes out, right? You need to double check whether did you choose this this particular mesh, right? And then apply the poly brush material on top of onto it.
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Did? Okay.
Yes.
Then did you choose this mesh? Did you choose this mesh? Then go to polybrush, okay, Windows, and then choose this thing, okay. Sometimes you see it's not showing out one, no, don't know why. It takes a while to refresh, then you come out.
It shows up now. It's showing up now, never mind.
It's showing out, right? Okay, so now it's working, right? Okay, so it's working. It's kind of quirky lah. It takes a while for me. It kind of like bummed me out for a while also. Okay, in any case, so now let's focus on right now. If I choose this particular polybrush thing, right? This 4 texture is this 4 parameters that allows the user to attach texture from the outside instead of going into the shader graph and do all these things. Okay. Now each one of them is for some basically in terms of visual programming for this shader, right? It has to have this sample texture 2D thing, because just the texture alone is not enough, because you need to have the UV as to like the tiling thing. Okay, that's why there's this UV. This one, if you look at the you go and click on this UV, right, and you check on this inspector, right. Yeah, check on this guy. I guess not. I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought there would be some values down here, but I think if there's no values by default, it's taking is actually reading it as 1. Okay, so this is the tiling thing, you know. Okay, so it's like now there's no tiling and offset. By default, it just treat it as the U and V is tiling is read as 1. Okay, so now we want to create the tiling. Okay, so now first thing first, in order to do tiling, right, we need to create a node. So I right click on outside any space and then create node, and then I can type and search for tiling and offset. Okay, double click it, you have this guy. Now this thing, right, you can see this color thing, or if you want to keep it on, it's fine, but I want to save space, I can click it off. Okay, so now this guy, this tiling offset, we're going to use it. You notice down here there's something called tiling, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create we're going to create a parameter here, which is a float value. Float means is decimal points. You can go decimal or integer, whatever it is. But more importantly is that you can have decimal points. Okay. And then you're going to connect it over to here. So I'm going to create one. So texture float. Okay. And then I'm going to name it as texture. Tiling texture 1. Okay. Just I want to follow the naming convention. So now if before anything, let's say I save right now, save asset. You notice now, because I didn't pull it out, sorry. Now if I didn't pull it out, even though I created it, I haven't pulled it out to the graph. So I'm going to pull this guy out, and then I'm going to attach this to the tiling, okay? Not the UV, remember it's the tiling. Okay, and this one, right, just take note, we need to make sure that the default is 1. Okay, because if the UV tiling thing is 0, it's going to mess things up very badly. So by default, you should set it at 1. Okay, so it's 1. So we have this thing. Now this guy, I'm not connecting first. I just want to show you what happens when you pull this thing out. When you save, right? You notice now, save. Is this one not connected? Oh, okay, guess not. Really? Oh, I guess not. I know. This one, sorry, you still need to connect to the UV. And if I don't connect, it doesn't show. Okay, so I'm going to pull it out. Then save asset. What? How come this thing is not changing? Oh, something is really wrong. What is wrong? Tiling and offset correct 为什么不能呢 Save asset. Something is wrong, by right, it should show the parameter. Yeah, I mean, try to refresh and see what happens. Nope. Oh, yeah, it should. Oh, I know why. The texture, tiling texture is here at the bottom. Okay, it's showing up. It's just that the order is wrong. Okay, so, and it's at 0, which is wrong. So this guy needs to be, okay. This guy should be 1. Okay, let me try to, this one right now is at the bottom, right? Because it is bottom here. If I were to shift it upwards right now, okay, this is where it should be. And then I say save asset as, right? Now you see it's down here. Okay, by 0, by default it's at 0, which is, that's not what I want. I don't know why even I set the, that means I need to set it here. Okay, I'm going to redo this guy. I'm going to delete this one. By right, it should be 1. So I'm setting this one as default as 1. Okay, let me save again. Save as set. It's still at 0. Let me pull this guy out. Attach this thing. Then save asset. But still defaulting at 0. I'm going to delete this thing from and create from scratch. Delete, and then now I'm going to create again the float, because I think I changed the default after I pull it out, which maybe kind of screw things up. So I'm going to change this to tiling. Tiling texture 1. And then pull this thing up and make sure that I choose this one and then change this to 1. Then I pull this guy out. Okay, and then connect to the tiling. Save asset as. Now default is 1. Okay. Now this guy right now, at least for this for the green, the base color, right, I can say if I now look at this is very crappy, right? Look at this thing. And then I change this to, let's say 30. It's much better. See that? Much better than this, right? So with that in mind, now we can do the rest. It's the same thing, man. Just basically, we maybe the better way is we can use this one. We know that this one is default at 1. We're going to duplicate this. I'm using Command D for Mac. I guess it's Control D for y'all. So Control D. I'm going to Command D. Then Command D again, Command D again, and then rename this one as texture 2, texture 3, texture 4. And then shift them accordingly by right. I'm basically left clicking and then dragging on. Okay. So, and then now this tiling and offset, right? I'm just going to do one from scratch first. Create, right click, create node, tiling, search for tiling and offset. Double click that one, close the preview. And I'm going to duplicate this 2 more times for the other 2 texture. Okay. or yeah, I just let me see. Connect. Kind of inner about this thing. Okay, then this is texture 2 one, right? Yeah, texture 2. So texture 2 styling. Pull it over. Click here. Texture 3 one. Make sure you connect the tiling, not the UV. I made the stupid mistake before. Okay. So now this is done. Save asset. You don't save asset, it will not show out here. And then now you have all this thing. Now this one moss, right? Especially the moss is very obvious when you press the T. Nicer. The rocks also 30. Then the sand especially also quite big. 30. Then that's it. Better, right? Huh? Question so far? Questions? If not, now next thing is the normal map. Normal maps, right? You think about it, right? It's quite simple in a way. If you think logically, no. Whatever you do here for the albedo, you do the same for the normal map. So you just choose these things, right? All this, sample texture thing, all that stuff. Because you still need a sample texture because you're going to, instead of using albedo, right, you're going to create a parameter down here, right, expose parameter called normal texture, and then attach to this to the sample texture 2D. So that's why you need the sample texture 2D. But you don't need this thing, you see, because all this, right, you can still use back the same ones. In fact, you should use back the same one. All this mask, right, you should be using the same mask, right, from the vertex color node. Okay. And also with regards to the tiling and all that stuff, right, you're going to still use back the same tiling, okay, for your normal, because the normal tiling, UV tiling should match the albedo's one, man. So later on, when we duplicate this thing, which looks very messy, okay, so I'm going to Command D. Then you get scared, but you don't need to. You just move it upwards. Okay. Then you notice that, okay, whatever that masking system from the vertex color node, right, is still attached to this one. Okay. All the masking is still there. That's what we want. Okay. With regards to the so the attachment to all this albedo texture, we're not dealing with the albedo texture anymore. So we can delete off all this. Delete, and then delete, and then delete. With regards to the UV tiling thing, we need to use the same, because the tiling of the normal map should match that of the texture or the albedo texture, or else that will be offset, and stuff like, and then it's going to look weird long. Okay, you understand this part? Questions? No. Then one thing about for the sample texture for the normal map portion, right, you need to make this change down here. The sample texture by default is, the type is default, but for normal map, they are not normal. Okay, ironically, they are not normal, so you need to change it to normal. So yeah, it's not default. You have to change it to normal. So you have to change all of that to normal, and you realize that after the second one, right, you notice that the right, it's going to give you yellow color instead of white color. Or if you don't get yellow, then something is wrong. And then this last one, instead of connecting to the albedo, you connect to the normal logical because you're now changing the normal I can't see. This is so bad. That is so bad. Is it connected? Yeah, I guess so. Yep, it is. Okay. So now, what do you need, people? Logically speaking, coding wise. What is missing right now? Don't say I never try to be. Yeah.
I mean, I would be able to think logically if I even knew how this thing works anyway.
Okay. Well, what you need, all this, right? Right now it say no texture leh. And what kind of texture should you attach there?
Oh wait, what's this for? Oh, that's the normal map. Then the texture should be the normal map.
Yeah, so we need a parameter, an expose parameter that the user can attach whatever normal map they choose. Okay, so you need to think logically like that. So now we go to here. If you look at the albedo one, right, the textures they have some kind of node that's called texture 2D. So you go to plus, look for texture 2D, create one texture 2D run. This one you can name it as normal texture 1. Okay, and then let's check the settings. Do we need to change any settings? Yeah, no need. Okay, so normal texture 1. Okay, don't think there's anything. Okay, so it's down here as default is exposed. That means if you can change it by the user. Then pull it over to the top. Okay, the arrangement is important, you see, or else just now I was lost. I can't find where the parameter is. So like user interface design. So I'm going to choose this one, duplicate another 3 times. Okay, and then rename them 2, 3, 4. Then I rearrange them. 2 to below the albedo texture 2, 3 to below albedo texture 3, 4 to below albedo texture 4. Okay, can I put this though? Okay. Okay, and then save as set. No, not yet. I haven't pulled it out. Never mind. Just pull. Where is my normal? Okay. Albedo texture. This one is normal texture 1. Normal texture 2. Normal texture 3. Normal texture 4. Where's my normal texture? Okay. Normal texture 4. Then now I save the file. Save as set. Then you notice down here now, it has normal placeholders for you to add on your textures. Okay, so I'm going to add in the normals. So should be here the terrain texture that is actually imported in from the terrain tools. Do take note, not the mask. Or I make a mistake using the mask before. Then I was like, what's wrong with my shader graph? Then actually it's this normal, the purplish one. So this one go here. This one moss one go here. And this one rock one go here. Sand one go here. And that's that. And then now if you zoom in, you can see that, wow, so nice. Got those kind of, in and out lighting, fake lighting, these details, especially the rock is very obvious. You see? Then if you change any of this one, let's say this is the moss one, I want it to be even smaller, I can change it to 50. Maybe much more matching. Okay. Or then, no, but you see the details are still there. Details, wow, look at that. Wow, zoom in, go and study okay, until you like. Okay. And really, when it comes to when you're building your blocking stuff from this week onwards for your assignment one, you should be putting in your third person character to run around as you're blocking in your terrain, right? Or to see things at this view. No longer just caring about the eagle's eye view is important, but the player, when you're playing what they're seeing is mostly this. So you need to block in accordance to this view, you see. You think about it, it's actually, that is what he's seeing. It's very important you put in that third person camera, third person character, so that you can run around with him to see what he's seeing. Understand? Can? Question. So the shader thing, right? That's it. Really not that difficult. Question. Close, save that's it. Then you can continue to paint. And where's my freaking tool? Here. You see, there's always this. If you didn't choose the mesh, right? They always have this freaking strange warning. Then you have to choose this. And once you choose the thing, then this thing will come out. Then you can paint, and you can change the strength and all that stuff so that it's not. You can slowly build up so that it's faded and all that. I don't think it's perfect. This system, is like sometimes it kind of flickers around, kind of weird. That's why I think it's very important that you should keep your this mesh as low poly. Yesterday I have just now I did mention a student that has the mesh is like, I think it was 200 something thousand, and he used that as his mesh. And when he tried to paint, right, the vertices actually fly out. So at first I was lost. Why that happened? And I thought, maybe reducing the poly count would help, and then it did. Also, it's super important that you keep your poly count as low as possible. Okay. Any questions?
Wait, you mentioned the vertices flying out. I think I may be experiencing that.
Then
when I turn on Polybrush, the terrain looks all messed up.
Well, you have not really reduced your poly count yet, right? Have you?
Don't remember actually.
If your poly count is more than 100,000, right, then that might be the reason. At least the student that has that same issue, he was having 100,000 something poly count, and after I asked him to reduce it, the problem is solved.
Yeah, I guess I'm still in the process of actually cutting down on the polygons. Just
and then do that, Can?
Well, I would be doing that if I wouldn't try to actually listen in.
Oh
dear.
Okay, Any other question from the rest? Left with roughly an hour so that I can go through your PureRef and also your backstory. Questions? Next week, we are going to try to figure out how to scatter your trees. And then with regards to trees and all that stuff, okay, assignment 1, this week onwards, you should be starting already, start to block your terrain. The aim is by next week, when you come into class, your terrain should be somewhat finalized exactly where, with the third person camera, walking around and stuff. You need to test it out and then see whether it's working well, or you have some kind of terrain that you can start to build things. And also, if you can start to build your lighthouse structure and also the residence, that would be good. Okay, because you only have like 7 weeks, you know. You can't waste time. Last week, I give you all 1 week to really do some visual research, think about what you're going to do for this island story or stuff, which is what we're going to cover later on next hour. This week, between this week and week 3, you have to get your terrain more or less finalized and have started on the building of the architectural stuff. Now, in terms of like things that has to be built from scratch, the tower, the lighthouse tower, the residence, it has to be done from scratch. The rest of the things, I mean, the terrain, obviously, I don't think you can go and like, or just anyhow, just somehow go Unity store and find an island that will fit whatever your story wants, needs. Okay, so in a way that is like given, you have to build that from scratch also. You can have something like if you do choose to go do Quixel stuff, after you have some kind of base and then you kind of tampa with the Quixel, no problem. You can add on stuff with the Quixel and all that. That's fine. Okay. Then the foliage and all that, if you want to, the bridge do have foliage. I would recommend going. Let me say, okay, again, anything to do with bridge, right? The style is of a certain realism, or then your architecture stuff will have to fit that kind of realism also. Okay. Your architecture thing, definitely you have to build from scratch. Okay. Then if let's say you want to use any like even surfaces, right? Quixel Bridge has like grass and all that stuff, which you can download and then you can use it for here if you want to, or you can even use those textures with Substance Painter, right? To paint. Okay. So all this is available. Okay, or rocks lah, whatever lah, pebbles, all these kind of things. Yeah, so many stuff. Okay, and then Quixel also have grasses. Okay, grass. Yeah, it's actually assets. They call it 3D assets, but I think if you download which one, let me see. That's true. Not this one. Plants. Okay, plants. You have all these kind of things. You can download this, right? I suspect all these are textures that is placed on planes that is like somehow arranged at different angles, so that at different angle when you look at it, right, you still can see the texture. Okay, so these are like texture with alpha channels. Okay, and with this one, right, I'm quite sure more than likely most of these textures will work well with Unity URP. Okay. And because of the fact that you use this one to go and import it in through bridge and all that stuff, right? More than likely it's going to work. Let me try. We'll try it later on next week. Then you can use this. You can use this for your graphs and stuff. Now, obviously, there's also Unity Asset Store. Now, I have to caution you with Unity Asset Store. A lot of the assets, right, that is available now there is actually standard render pipeline. You import into URP, right? Definitely going to be pink color. Then you have to go and see using this way, this method, or this one is it's not for sure. If you go to render pipeline, universal render pipeline, and then upgrade project materials to universal render pipeline, it might solve that pink color, it might not. Okay, so that's why even for the free assets in Unity Asset Stores, right, there is no certainty that it will definitely be usable with URP. And you better give yourself some kind of buffer time to go and figure out all these kind of assets issues and see whether you can use it or not before you run into the situation, oh, I don't have time to do my graphs because the Unity Asset Stores graphs doesn't work. Okay, if it doesn't work, then you create your own graphs, and then you go and scatter around. Okay, can? And just for warning y'all, Unity Asset Stores one, don't think that because it says it's Unity Asset Store, it can work with URP. Most of the time it doesn't. Question? Foliage and all that stuff, it's fine that you use assets that you download from Unity Asset Store. Let's say props, right? Because of you want to save time so that you can have more time dealing with the trying to make the place interesting, add in story element through props, right? And if you so happens that you can find props that is matching up to what you want to do, or you see down here, or Unity Assets, there is also a lot of props, I don't know what the heck, 3D assets, props or farmland, those kind of things, trash, all these things. You want to use this, I'm fine. Okay. Or I just take note, all these styles are very realistic. And also, you don't just use it to save time, but you use this to help with your storytelling or of adding in some kind of mysteriousness about the place and all that stuff. I'm fine with you using this thing to save time. Can? Questions?
I actually tried to cut down the polygons, but unfortunately, in the ZBrush, but unfortunately, the number of points in it, it's still 100 and over 100,000.
Well, do you still have those C area that you want to throw away?
Yes, I did. I already did.
Oh, when you Z remesh, you do a half. You press the button half.
Sorry, what?
When you Z remesh, there's actually a button that you can press that's it says half.
Oh.
You half the resolution. Did you do that?
Not yet.
Then you do that, lor.
No, this is a
Okay, once you halve it, I'm sure it will be less. It will be right now. You're saying that it's 100,000, right? Probably be maybe 50 odd thousand, no? Yeah, 50 odd thousand. I think Unity can handle.
Yeah, 51,000.
Okay, lor.
But then it looks the geometry now looks very
not as detailed, lah.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, it's very big, right? You need that much detail in a bigger scale level. You can get in those details through the textures. Like just now, I show you all that the rock, all that kind of textures. That is more important now, right? Just now Yeah, this kind of text, this kind of details is more important. This kind of details is more important than this kind of details. Okay? Not that this kind of details is not important, just that you don't need to have this super detailed informations down here, in this larger scope. You just need this kind of normal map details down here. Because this is what your third person is looking, no? This is how he's going to see things. Okay? Not like that. Okay? Understand?
I see.
Okay. If nothing is, I'm gonna hand over the time to y'all. You're supposed to sell your idea to me. So close my Unity. Bye bye, Unity. Who wants to start first? Don't say. It's 12:06. Can we do it quickly so that everybody is covered? Let's not waste time. No need to be shy one.
May I know? May I know how to do it? Is it like show or pure then?
Yeah, show your
Explain our
pure
idea.
ref. Yeah, explain your idea. What is one thing to take note of, right? Yesterday, I was teaching 2 classes. They never mentioned about, okay, what is that? Remember, there is this issue that we need to deal with is the local volume post-processing transition.
Yeah,
Whatever overall place, the happy feeling. Let's say I start off with a very happy feeling, then you go into another local volume post-processing space, right? What is that contrasting change of a feeling that you want to get? Okay, is it going to be happy go into wow even more happy, or happy go into wow suddenly something very mysterious, very scary? You need to be very careful, that kind of stuff. Okay. Then
Or is it like the color scheme or
it need not be color scheme. Okay, don't think just the color. Okay, always think about the mood, the feeling that has changed, because that is the thing that will actually affect your color scheme. Okay, or it might not be color scheme. Okay, or it might be just like the props that you lay out down there. That particular space changes, so there is no happy really. Everything down there is very sharp one. Okay. And because of that, after that, you might post-processing wise, you might maybe add on more blurry effect, or make you feel like the guy when you go in a bit more drunk, whatever. I don't know. No, it need not be just color only. See, can?
my idea a bit like different. It's like one island, 2 different modes. One with a strange feeling and another side is like very beautiful and stuff.
Share your screen, share your pure ref. When you're pitching,
okay.
you have to show visuals. Okay, don't just talk. Talk is a single picture can sell an idea better than whatever number of sentences that we try to speak. Okay, that's the reason why I want you all to do pure ref. Push a hole, right? You notice that in Unity Terrain 2, right, you can't really do that very easily, or there's actually a hole thing, but actually it cuts a hole and that's that. It's kind of crappy. One thing you can do is in this one, right, you can just, let's say you want to push a hole, right, you can, let me see, command, you paint a mask, right? Let's say this is the opening of that hole, right? And then of the cave, and then you say, I can inverse this thing, right? You can command and then draw a mask outside. Well, yeah, sorry. Command. Click once, not draw a mask. Click once, and then you inverse the selection. So now this one, right? Anything that is not painted black, right, you cannot you'll be able to affect it. So now I'm going to use the move tool. Anything that's painted black, you cannot touch it. So I'm going to go to the move tool. Then I'm going to make this big. Then I'm going to push it in. So I'm going to push it in. Now you notice, obviously, I push it in right now. Obviously, there's going to be like bad stretching and stuff. Don't worry too much at the moment. Now, besides that, right, at the moment, right now, all this mask area, right, at the moment, if I go to shift F, right, you notice that all of them are the same color. This is what we call polygroup. It's like grouping grouping of faces. Okay. Now, if you go to geometry, not geometry, sorry. Scroll down more down here on this toolbar here. There's something called polygroups. There is this part where you say you can group mask. So anything that was masked out, the so-called the grayish area, group mask. Okay. Then you'll notice that this part, right? If I go now Shift F, right? Group mask. I'm going to try to group mask again. Maybe the color is different. You see that the color is different, right? That means there's actually two masking, okay, or two groups of masks. Right now, right, if I were to, let's say after I can go Shift F, okay, and I don't mask anymore, I'm going to Command and then just drag outside, so unmask it, okay, and then if I were to use the Shift command, right, the selection one, right, I can actually click on this one, right, to select the inside one, okay, because it's of a different poly group, okay. So when it's the different poly group, right, I can actually now from here, right, do further sculpting and stuff inside and then push it and all that stuff. Obviously, right now it's got stretching and stuff, right, which is ugly. So I'm going to Command Shift and then drag outside to, Command Shift, drag, click once to review everything. And I'm trying to go to smooth out these things. So I'm just going to first thing first, when I smooth out this thing, it's not going to be very helpful, okay, because there's still going to be stretching. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to geometry and then Dynamesh. Dynamesh, what happens, right? Yeah, Shift F. You notice like this, right? You notice the geometry, the edge loops are of a certain kind of edge loop. Right? Take note of what happens after I Dynamesh. Shift F. Dynamesh. Then I Dynamesh it. They have right now got subdivision level. It will scream at you. You say no. Now it's Dynamesh already. Then if I Shift F, you notice that hey, it's slightly different one. Can you see that? Now the way that the thing is done. Okay, obviously right now, I don't know why there's like different kind of poly group, but with this, right, you can always go in Command Shift and click on this purple color area, right? Now this purple color area looks kind of funny, right? You want to see double-sided, right? You can go to display properties and then double-sided. Then now you can see the other side also. Then you can continue to push or sculpt. You can always, if you don't want to sculpt, I don't want to push, and you can always sculpt by, if you want to cut in, you can always Option, then you clay build out and then cut in. Then you can design your cave in a way, this way. You can smooth it. Or if you want to, you can also use your move tool from here. move this thing, build your tunnel systems, whatever shape it is. Once it's like that, it's starting to stretch, right? It's starting to stretch, right? Okay, then you need to get out of the get out of the selection masking mode. Okay, and then again Dynamesh. Or you have to get out, or else if you do it without getting out of the selection mode, right? It will actually close out the hole. For Dynamesh, it's like that. It's kind of strange. So it kind of you need to get used to it. Where is Dynamesh? Go to geometry, and then you Dynamesh. You can by right, you can just drag and then Dynamesh. By right, when this one is orange, right, you just command and then you drag, right, it will Dynamesh. So now it Dynamesh the inside part. Now it's not stretched anymore. If you want to continue to edit the thing, you can continue to like go to a command shift, click. Questions? Huh? No. So the shape of the interior, this cave-like structure, or if you don't have this thing later on, it's very difficult for you to get in here. Right now you got stretching again, right? Get back out. Okay, frame. Get back out. And then now you see down here got stretching. So now Dynamesh, if I go command and then I drag outside. No, now you see no more stretching already. Okay. Then after you're happy with this, right, you might want to like duplicate this guy. I say, I duplicate this one just in case I want to go back and make changes. I close this guy, and then this one you just go and Z-remesh. Because right now this thing is crappy, right? Or you can also continue to, let me just change the opening, make it even more organic. The opening, I don't know anyhow first. But you know that, hey, this is crappy topology, right? So eventually you still need to go back to Z-remesh. This one you need to turn off. Go to Z-remesher. You can use same for now at the moment, and then Z-remesh. So nothing, but you have to understand now once you Z-remesh, the poly grouping will be gone. So that's why you still want to keep the previous Dynamesh one in case you are still, after you Z-remesh, you feel that, I still want to make some changes, then you can fall back on your old one, the Dynamesh to go back in. So right now, if you want to go and go in and then try to go in and try to do this thing, you know that it's going to be very difficult, because once you're in it like this, then when the whole screen is seeing the same mesh, right, you can't rotate and all that stuff. It becomes very difficult for you to rotate and then do things. Okay, understand?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how you can deal with caves. One way lah. I'm not saying that that's the only way. There's other things. Is Dynamesh is also, let's say right now, this guy, right. If I were to, in this particular sub tool, okay, go and append in another shape, right? I just anyhow choose one. Okay. So imagine this is another piece of your, oops, I should be choosing this poly mesh. I choose another piece of this guy, which you have sculpted, to whatever organic shape that you want, and then eventually you decided, I think these two things needs to be merged together. Then what you can do is you can choose this one and this one. You can actually merge down. You go to merge, you can merge down or merge visible is also okay. It will tell you once you merge, that's it. Okay, merge then now you merge already, right? And you know that's this guy and this guy, you can also go Dynamesh. Dynamesh. Then now this and this becomes a singular piece, and then this one also got, in terms of the poly distribution, it actually has vertices that go over there. And it also has, if you want to, you can still, you can select, oops, it's this guy. Yeah, sorry. And clear the mask. And then you can also Command Shift, select this guy. Yeah. Or this is polygroup, or you want to inverse it. So sometimes your cave might be built by using different meshes that then later on you merge together. Then you later on Dynamesh to get to be together. Then you Z-remesh. So various ways. Okay? Any questions?
No. Not for now.
Yeah, so all these things I teach you all, take note of the keywords. Okay, Z-remesh, Dynamesh, merging, all these kind of things, so that later on if you want to try yourself, you can, and you're unsure, you can always Google. You can find tons of information about all these things on. Okay, I'm just here to guide you. Oh, this is possible. This is possible. And take note of the keywords. Okay, so that you can dig in more to find out more. Okay, because I can't show you every possible scenario, because different people, when they're doing their things right, they have different situation to deal with, and there's different methods of solution. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else.
Okay.
Bye.
Wait, I kind of want feedback on my thing though.
Okay. Sure.
So do I just show the pure ref and things?
You can share. So I'm stopping my sharing.
Okay, unfortunately, like I look at what others have done, it seems like this one isn't exactly the most clear. But okay, let's first begin with like I'll dig into the story later. The general island shape, in order to try to make the island more interesting because at first it was just two blobs, one of them has a hill. I opted to try to make it look like a horseshoe or something like this. Essentially, there's like a cone or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Which slowly tapers from like one end to the other. One is like flat, then it gradually becomes a hill. Which I actually did put the screenshot over here. This is the actual island. So imagine something like this, but a lot more boring.
Okay.
And now onto the requirements itself. It being a lighthouse island,